Hello everybody, how's it going today? Glowplasma Tooth here, one here back in today to talk about Weekly Shonen Jump, issue number 2 of 2025. And man, it feels weird to still say like, oh man, we're in 2025 now, when in reality, I'm recording this on December 26th, the day after Christmas here in the United States, where of course I am located. So I hope all of you guys had a good, decent Christmas. I am definitely going to be uploading this video later than when I'm recording it right now, but either way, hopefully you guys had a great old good time. And yeah, I mean, we're not even in 2025 yet here in, of course, my part of the world and in most parts of the world, so it is just a little weird to think like, oh yeah, we're talking about issue number 2 of 2025 of Shonen Jump. And granted, this does happen every year, and to most fans of Jump, like, it doesn't actually matter. It's just like, okay, this is just like another issue of Jump, and like the issue numbers don't matter, but they only matter to me for numbering these videos in like a consistent like schedule sort of thing. I'm sorry, there's a bug flying around me which I just didn't get, so I need to, okay, oh damn, okay, maybe that bug would like go somewhere else and not be flying around me. Like, come on now, bug, like that's pretty insensitive whenever I'm talking about Weekly Shonen Jump. But as you guys of course see here on the screen, I think this week, how many series do we have talked about? No, not 15, we have actually 13 because we subtract 2, yeah. But we have 13 series talked about Weekly Shonen Jump, which is definitely a change of pace from last week having, well, 15. So it was sort of nice to have a bit few series, and honestly, there were some really good moments in this week of Jump, as we will get into. As normal, what we're going to do here is we're going to be doing a Ramble episode of this series, so I'm just going to be talking about every series in little blippets of like, hey, what I thought about it, what I thought was good, what I thought was bad, and just like going through it as I just normally would. And then we're going to rank all the chapters in as normal, pick a character of the week, and whatever other stuff we decide to do here in the video. I may need to keep this one a bit short because I do have some plans going to play some Magic the Gathering at a card store here tonight. So if this video gets cut short or if I seem to be rushing, that is why I sort of got somewhere I need to be. And I don't like to record these videos on a day after I've read this issue of Jump because it's like, hey, my thoughts are my thoughts now and they may get dulled over time, and for some series, I need to have like that harsh reality of this is what is going on here. But yeah, without any further ado, I'd say let's just go and hop into it with Undead Unluck. And Undead Unluck was a very interesting chapter this week because it focused on Fukko's realization of, oh no, okay, the heart, one of the 3 great spirit treasures, is actually inside of me. And as this sort of goes on through, everybody's like, okay, we're going to be doing this. And Andy has this moment where he's like, hey, come on, I mean, you guys know that Fukko is going to be headlong and stubborn about this, so we may as well just, like, take it out of our heart. And this chapter is pretty much, all of the Union performing heart surgery on Fukko, which is a little bit of, like, an interesting thing, and at some points it doesn't really seem like it's doing too well for them. But we see pretty much every negator comes in to help, and in this meantime, Fukko goes and talks with, like, Luna after, like, she thinks she's may have dead, but, like, Luna's like, hey, you're just passed out, so I figured I'd show you this view of it, and we could talk for a second, right? And the whole thing with the heart is like, okay, Fukko, to accurately use this heart, you need to sacrifice something of yourself. Like, the sword rebellion fuels on rage, like, Aegis to shield is literally just a damn shield. But you know what? The heart. Love. Oh no, Fukko, you're going to lose all the memories and everything you've made of Andy. But it's like, you know what? He's undead. I'm Unluck. We'll just make him all over again, which is just like that blind optimism of Undead Unluck, which is just really funny to see. The big reveal at the end of this chapter is, of course, that, like, Ano Un came in and, like, using the de-aging orb that Fing had during the summer arc, if I'm not mistaken. They just do a whole bunch of things to where Fukko gets de-aged here, and also is, like, mentioned, like, okay, Shin also gets de-aged. So a lot of, like, interesting stuff going on in this chapter. But it's definitely that whole thing of, like, where it's picking up the pace of Undead Unluck. Like, this series has to end at the beginning of next year. I don't know what, like, is going to happen. Like, this series is definitely ending very soon, and with that, I'm thinking it'll probably go towards, like, the top of the chapters this week, but maybe a bit towards, like, the middle. Like, definitely an extremely good chapter, and, like, as we can see here in the past few weeks of ranking Undead Unluck, I mean, it's been, like, first, third, and second. Like, I've really been enjoying Undead Unluck recently, and this was a good chapter too, but it's just, like, keeps on this train of, like, oh my gosh, okay, what is all this stuff going on here? But still, very, very good. One Piece was also really, really cute this week, and really it was just all about Robin just meeting Saul again, just like their emotional reunion. And Honestly, I think one of my goals for the New Year's, I want to reread that early part of One Piece again. I don't know if I want to like reread all of like Skypiea and Alabasta. Like, I definitely know I want to reread like the original part of the series, like the first 100 chapters before they get to Logtown. And I also want to go back and reread the Water 7 arc, and of course, Enies Lobby's like collaborated in on that. And I know I have 2 of the volumes on my shelf of the One Piece omnibuses, so I may try to track down the first one in that sort of set and then just go through reading them, because like I really enjoy Robin as a character, and I really just want to reread all of those moments, like her best moments in the series again, because like obviously as we've seen so far, Elbaf is going to be an arc very much focused on Robin. And just seeing her reunion with Saul is just so very nice. It's like these 2 people who were just like estranged 22 years ago, but they still care for each other, like much the same. Like, it's such a really awesome moment. Like, I can't understate that enough. And I love the last page of this chapter. I'm actually going to pull it up on my computer real quick, where my computer will load. Okay, here we are. Where we just see all of the Straw Hats just crying in the background. We see Usopp, Chopper, Nami, Frankie, Brook, and Sanji. And then we just see Luffy standing there, looking at this and smiling at this reunion between Saul and Robin. It's so nice, and I just absolutely love it. Like, and the whole thing of like, oh no, Saul has fallen, but he can't get up, and like, it was just a ploy for him to be playing with Robin a little bit. Like, it's just so incredibly nice, and it's just such a good chapter of One Piece, man. Like, I honestly am at a loss for words about like how much I enjoyed this. Also, they have like Roto on like a crucifix through half the chapter is also a very, very funny joke, but like, mainly Saul and Robin have reunited, and yeah, and as the chapter title says, like, this is just a really, really nice thing. And oh my gosh, a great chapter of One Piece. I don't know if it is quite the second. I mean, we're gonna have to get into ranking them, but this is an easy contender for chapter of the week. It's so nice. It's so good. Hunter x Hunter. Okay, so this girl has now joined Morina and the Haley Mafia family. And oh no, it seems like Prince Benjamin, the first prince of Kakine, is seen being infected with the virus, and he's going to die within 24 hours. Oh no, like, I don't know what this Hunter x Hunter chapter was, man. Like, it was just a bunch of crap. I'm gonna be real with you, like, this is easily like a chapter that's going like towards the middle bottom, or probably more towards the bottom, because like, I don't have any reason to really care about much of this right now, right? It's like, yes, I was really digging where we were at the beginning of these chapters, checking out what's going on with the Phantom Troop, seeing a little bit of like what's going on in Queen Oito's whole thing, and like how we're learning more about some of the princes, and it's like, oh no, Prince Halkenberg died. And then we've gotten to this whole card game thing between Morina and I think it's Prince Sundarich's, like, one of his guards or whatever. Like, a lot of this just wasn't explained to why this is happening, and I'm sure it'll all, like, come more full circle later. Something that Hunter x Hunter really likes to do. But right now, I'm at a very big loss for words of, like, okay, why should I care about this? And that's really my thoughts on Hunter x Hunter right now, especially knowing that this is the last chapter out of this current batch of 10. I mean, as we know, this is chapter number 410. I'm sorry, I thought it was on 300. No, 410. So it's like, okay, we've had our 10 chapters, we've had our volumes worth of content. The manga is now going to be put on hold for a while. Hopefully it's not 2 years, but also, if that's what Togashi needs to give us more content, that's what he needs to do. I mean, it is what it is right there. So yeah, I don't know. I think we have had confirmation from Togashi saying, like, that he's working on the next 50 chapters of the series, but it's like, the infrequency of Hunter x Hunter's release schedule really gets me sometimes. But either way, yeah, Hunter x Hunter was fine. There's no really other words I have for it. Kagurabachi had an amazing chapter this week. Definitely in that, like, top few for sure. What even happened this chapter? Why am I totally forgetting it? Oh yeah, it was the whole conversation between Chihiro and Chiba pretty much going through, like, hey, I also have not recorded my Kagurabachi chapter review yet, and I read these chapters, like, 7 or 8 hours ago, so that's why my mind is sort of blanking on a few of these things, but Kagurabachi had a really, really nice chapter with pretty much Chihiro and Shiba talking about all of these various things. And, I really love seeing more of Shiba's character of, hey, Kunishige, hey, Samura, I know I shouldn't be doing this. And, Samura, you purposely killed Chihiro for the fact of, to get him not intertwined with this whole conflict, because you don't want to kill Rokuhira's son, because even still, Rokuhira meant something to you, but, I'm still giving him to Blade. I'm sorry, this is just how it's going to be. And, it's honestly a pretty neat moment between the two of them there. And then let me just open up the chapter real quick. Seeing all of the Kabunagi stuff was pretty fun, and at the very end, hey, the Masumi, as they are now called, no longer the Makizumi, the Masumi, are going to be working with Chihiro. And, I love, Chihiro's new thing of, all the scars on his face, and I just had a massive smile when we see Chihiro and then the 3 Mizumi members going up the elevator and it opening, and they're all in their suits, which is the formal ninja attire. It just looks really, really cool, and that's all I gotta say. It was a good Kagurabachi chapter for sure. And as I normally say, go check out my video, and I'll have all of the breakdown of the chapter there. So I think that's pretty neat. Kill Blue. Last video, I had a little bit of a discussion where I was hey, there's an easy way to fix Kill Blue and make me care more about these characters. And it seems like this chapter tried to do a little bit of that, but at the end, it just didn't work. Of course, in this chapter, we see it's the worst chapter of the week. There's no even, debating it. It's Kill Blue. Let me just write that if I could type. I'm not doing very well at typing. Kill Blue. It just wasn't good whatsoever. The whole thing of, okay, Norin and the other idol girl are sipping down a bunch of ramen, right? Or not ramen, it's Sukimen, but Norin only likes ramen and doesn't like Sukimen, so she doesn't want to eat any of it, but it's come on, Norin, why? And it's it takes Ogami coming in saying, hey, Norin, do this, and she's you know what, maybe I will. And I just have no reason to care about this, seriously, I don't even go into chapters or any redeeming damn qualities about this chapter, no. It's that the one idol girl loves eating ramen, they eat 7 whole bowls of it, oh man, it's crazy. And at the end of the day, Norin has learned to love Sukimen from this girl. And the whole thing about the Maid and Butler Study Club of oh boy, we don't actually, or we wanted to win, but you beat us so bad, I don't even know if we can. This chapter wasn't very good. I don't know if you guys are getting that from what I'm saying, but yeah, I did not particularly enjoy this chapter too much, but whatever, I'll keep reading Kill Blue. Now, Ichi the Witch, on the other hand, was a very, very, very good chapter. I know I said very a lot there, but it needed to be said a lot. It was really fun going through and seeing the rest of the hunt for the Kindake magic, and seeing everybody in their mushroom extermination gear. And I really love the note in this Ichi the Witch chapter that we get brought up that specifically whenever Ichi was with Minakata taught Ichi about mushrooms and all this other stuff after he nearly died a few times, as he says in the chapter. A very awesome beginning of the chapter for sure. And going through with Togi Issei and just battling them back and forth, and then eventually Ichi saying hey, we're going to deal with this magic, and getting Kumigi all dressed up and in her disguise form, and then having the magic come down, and Kumigi catches it and says Ichi, come to it, and Ichi just feels the bloodlust out in the air, and then Togi Issei forms that big crazy ice dragon looking thing to also just eat the magic, and she's hey, I don't care at this point, we're if go big or go home pretty much. And then Ichi just dashes away and then fights that guy from earlier and says hey, you're a magic, aren't you? And it's okay, I'm liking this, where's it going? I don't know, but it's also a question of, okay, what type of magic is this? Because all the magics we've seen so far are very beast-like. I mean, not for certain. Oro Oro is more of a humanoid shape, but you could still tell Oro Oro was a beast, right? And who else have we seen? We've seen the Raiko magic, Inazori, the Isame magic, and of course now the Kindake magic, and I can't really think if we've seen any other personifications of magic yet. But yeah, I'm thinking in my mind, and I don't think we actually have, but either way, what I was getting to is they're all beastly formed, or like the Raiko magic's a fox, like Isame is a shark, like ice shark, pretty cool, and like the Hidaki magic is just like a little guy, right? Like just some little like a mushroom man. But at the end of the day, the whole thing is like, okay, why is this magic almost seeming to look like a human? Like, what is their power and what is it? I'll be very interested to see if we get any of this revealed next chapter, because I mean the chapter title of this chapter was like what, 3 question marks? So I'm very interested to see where Ichi Witch goes from here. But it was definitely a very good chapter. I'm gonna put it Ichi the Witch right there, because I thought it was good, but I don't think it's under Undead Luck, but I don't know if it was in the middle of these two here. Syd Craft, Love is a Mystery. This chapter really fixed a lot of the problems I've had with the past few, because I'm like, okay, where's this going? I'm not really a fan of Souffle, Flamberry, or Elio at this point. And this whole thing of just trying to be a rom-com, like, it's not very interesting. And this chapter did a lot to, like, make me more enjoyable or more, like, acceptive to the series, because this chapter is all about, like, at the beginning we see, like, Flamberry, like, going after this, this thief of some kind, and like, oh no, you better get back here, and I forget what she is called, because she is, like, almost deeply important. Yes, the Phantom Thief Mizcat. And we eventually learned that, the Phantom Thief Mizcat's actual name is Lulu, and that, oh boy, she's part of, like, a crime syndicate family, but, like, not really, who's, like, arch nemesis are the Craft family, which is, of course, Syd's family. And just a whole thing of her being like, yes, we're like a Robin Hood type character. It's very, very interesting. And then it's like, okay, she's going to go to the Corrupt Museum, which is a name like Corrupt. Like, I find that really funny. Honestly, if I were to do like my favorite location in manga in a year, it would probably have to be the Corrupt Museum, because like, do you see all of the like things they've got in here? Like, one of their main exhibits is a piece of pizza in like a jar over like a beaker of some kind, so it's pretty interesting. And then of course we get the thing that happens between Syd and Lulu whenever they meet and share a bond over romance novels. And we instantly see that Lulu knows who Syd is, but like Syd doesn't quite know who Lulu is. And then like Syd foils every single part of Lulu's things until confronting her at the end of the chapter, being like, hey, I've been searching for you all day. You left your book earlier, and I was trying to find you and give it to you, but I had to thwart this crime first, pretty much. And like, Lulu doesn't understand why somebody would do that. And I just really like this dynamic of like the detective and then like the person who isn't necessarily bad. I mean, they're not like committing murders or anything, but it's like she is actively like trying to help out other people, and like she's not a bad person, but of course to Syd it's not the most desirable field from his perspective. And I just really liked how Lulu was introduced, and yeah, I think she was a very, very good character this chapter. So honestly, middle of the bunch for Syd Craft, Love is a Mystery, if I could type that out. Astro Royale I found very, very interesting, because like we get the whole thing of like where the Daybreak or like some other entity like speaks to Hibaru and Greenpath. I remembered her name for once. I'm actually very happy about that, where like the Daybreak Ore talks to him, says like, hey, there are 6 Daybreak Ores scattered about the land, collect them all like the Dragon Balls, pretty much, right? Or any other manga where it's like, oh yes, you have all of these items scattered about the land, bring them all together. Like, I guess Undead Unluck has it like, get all the negators, bring them here. Like, what are all the other series? Like One Piece, the poneglyphs, like get all the poneglyphs, right? So it's like a very like old trope in anime and manga for sure. And like, I'm trying to think if like My Hero had anything like that, and I actually don't think it did. But okay, we have all of these various Daybreak Ores out there, 6 of them in total. And going through it, it's like, okay, what is going on here? Until we eventually get like the whole meeting between like Hibaru and all of the other cast, where it's like, I think Genji, who's Kinpa's father, says like, okay, let me actually bring up the chapter. Oh yeah, we also have a very sick color page where it's like, hellfire blazing like a dragon, right? And a very interesting color page, and it seems like Astro Royale is doing good enough to be getting a color page now. Oh yeah, there's a whole thing in the helicopter with Rary and all of the family, and like Hibaru's got this really determined look on his face. It's fine enough. But the whole thing where, Genji says, reports from both Hokkaido and Kansai of something resembling the Daybreak Ore. And then Tora comes in and says, like, hey, I also heard a rumor while I was in jail. There's some big event going up in Yokohama, and a prize sounds like a Daybreak Ore. Which is very, very interesting. And then, like, Hibaru's like, okay, Tora, I want you to head to Kansai. Kuran and Kimpa go to Hokkaido. Tarasu and myself will go to Yokohama to deal with this. And then there's a whole page where, like, Shio's like, okay, let's go to Yokohama. And it's also brought up in this chapter that Shio has through the Daybreak Wars. So it's like, alright, one Daybreak War here. Hibaru now has one, and we've got 3 other sightings, so, like, are all 6 accounted for? I think it'd actually be really, really cool, being that Shio's saying, let's go to Yokohama. If inside of Yokohama, like, it's a distraction to get, like, Hibaru's faction to go there, I guess, like, Hibaru and Tarasu, which I also enjoy because it's like, okay, we haven't seen Hibaru and Tarasu, like, work together as a team, like, ever since they got Kuran and Kimpa, like, it's really nice, and I love those characters, but, like, this is supposed to be, like, the brotherly bond between Tarasu and Hibaru, so it's nice to see the two of them working together here. But I was getting to, I think it'd be really cool if, like, this Daybreak Ore is actually, Shio's, and, Shio's, like, using it to lure out Hibaru and Tarasu and the rest of his gang, so I think that'd be an actually really cool move for the author here, of course. Kinwako, yeah, the guy who wrote Tokyo Revengers. I don't know why I was blanking on his name. To do it that way, but also, I mean, if all 6 are just accounted for now, I guess it's also whatever. Yeah, this was like a middle chapter. I'm actually gonna leave it where it is right there. Hima-ten, I know for like the past like 3 weeks of doing these videos, like I've had almost nothing to say about Hima-ten, but like that's just honestly really how I feel about it. Like, this was a very good chapter. Like, it just showed off some nice dynamics between, of course, Honoka and Iomori. I don't know why I was forgetting his name there, but it was like, it's just that stuff like a romantic comedy. Like, it's really good, and seeing how like the two of them wish they would have spent more time together whenever they were younger, but at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, it's just good, but it's like, not really that I really want to say about it, like, good or bad. It's just like, very, very solid, and that's really all there is to it there. Like, I hope we get back to like more of like the actual, like, okay, here's the actual plot, I'm a house cleaner, this is my whole thing, and getting more into that, but still, I mean, Hima-ten was really good this week. What else was really good was Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi, because we have, like, this little gag chapter where it's like, okay, Kyoshi is very, very wounded from his battle with Asura Roth, so, who's his face? Sasaki says, hey, we're gonna go to the Exorcism Hot Springs, and they go there with Nihon, Jack Joe, and Akari, and do a bunch of big shenanigans. There's especially that moment whenever, who's his face, Sasaki tells Koshi to get into the, like, demonic, like, black bath or whatever, and Koshi comes out of it feeling very much rejuvenized. This is a, like, very big, like, gag joke chapter, especially when we get to the end where it's like, okay, now Jack Joe's gone under, and he's, like, standing under some holy waterfall of some kind, and as, like, the water is pouring down on him, we see that Captain Tsurugi is here, or the Exorcist, Grand Cross Paladin, whatever he is, Tsurugi is here, pulls him out and says, like, hey, you guys are here. And he doesn't even, like, get, like, acknowledging to him, but he's like, hey, guys, there's a sign that says no running, don't run. And it's, like, the whole joke there, and we see that, like, the other important girl is there with, why am I forgetting everybody's names? Akari, and, like, goes boob first into her, like, oh my gosh, you're here, oh my gosh, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, it's a bunch of really good jokes and everything, and then we get to the whole thing where it's like, okay, it's now time for a training arc. It's now going to be Sasaki and Kyoshi versus Sosuke and Tsurugi in a 2-on-2 ping pong. It's like, okay, I'll be excited to see it, and I thought this was a fun chapter, and yeah, just a lot of jokes to carry it, but I thought a lot of those jokes landed very well, especially for me. Next up is Akane Banashi, and yeah, we just see that, let me open up the chapter here to make sure I'm just recounting all of this correctly. Yeah, we see that Isho is going through, and that he is, doing his story, which is, of course, Time Soba, as we see it here, and he's performing Vince, and I love in the background, we just see that Shiguma is just crying to Kyoru, like, hey, like, by him doing this means that you're going to get expelled and no longer have the Mikoru name or any of that sort of stuff, and, like, you could have been so much more. And then this Mikoru just tells him, like, yeah, I know. like, thank you for keeping this under wrap for me, but, like, hey, at the end of the day, I wanted to see you guys perform, and if it means I get kicked out, well, it's all what I really wanted in the end. And eventually, seeing that after Isho does this really beautiful performance, doing the same story that we saw Kyoru doing before with, of course, Time Soba, and then just seeing that he gets expelled and that the three of them all get expelled together. So it's not like the two of them even got to stay into school, being like the main Mikoru just like took him out of there to begin with. And then the whole thing is like, hey, we have to create a new name for ourselves. And then at the end of the chapter, we just see this thing of like, hey, is this the point where Mikoru gives himself the name Shiguma Arakawa, and where the Arakawa school is officially founded, and where, of course, Shiguma, or the present Shiguma Arakawa, and where Isho Arakawa are actually born? Like, this really gives a big leap to it, and as the chapter even says, like, hey, and this is how the very first story reaches its conclusion, like, there's a good amount of stuff going on here, so it's just interesting to see how it's all laid out, and I very much do enjoy how this played out. And I'll be interested to see if we get more flashback from here, or if we just, like, hard cut and go back seeing how Akane is dealing with now being Isho's disciple. I don't think any particular way is going to be better than the other, but it was definitely good at the end of the day. I might need to speed it up here a little bit. So Blue Box was very, very good. Just this whole chapter between, like, Chinatsu and Yumeka, like, discovering, like, how much of a good player she is, pretty much. And eventually getting into this whole point of, hey, I want to go see Taiki. Taiki's mom gives him, like, some sweat clothes for Chinatsu to go see Taiki. And then the two of them just having a nice little moment and just being cute together, pretty much, right? And just, like, having one of those real moments where Chinatsu just has to get something off her chest, and just saying it to Taiki just makes her feel so much very better. And then, of course, the whole joke of, like, oh, hey, Chinatsu's father, were you standing behind there the entire time? Oh, no, I didn't see anything. Whopped it up. Like, yeah, it's just a good chapter of Blue Box, and one that was definitely enjoyable. I don't know why I put Akane Banashi there, probably a bit more towards the middle, and same with Blue Box. Just some very good chapters this week. And then for the final chapter, we have Witch Watch, where we see just this big battle between, of course, Hibana and all of her big, bombastic, exploding Shikigami, which are the same paper Shikigami that we've seen multiple times throughout the series that I've now realized. I don't know what that is. I don't think there's just a one way to make a Shikigami the entire time, but I guess it is what it is. And then the scientist guy, whose name I just keep stupidly forgetting. You know what? I am going back to last chapter, because I know it got said last chapter at some point, and I want to know this character's name. I know it's said somewhere here. Soji Kuro, Kokuro. Soji Kukoru. Okay, now back to the current chapter at hand. Seeing just like how Hibana and Kon are sort of facing off. And I just really love a lot of the parts of this chapter as we see it's like there's a fight going on. Oh gosh, what was the name? Kokusho. Yeah, Kokusho just says like, hey, you aren't even going to last 5 minutes, and it turns out that works into the plot at the end of the day. Morito's father, Reiji, or is it? Yeah, I think it's Reiji Otogi. Goes through and like punches the ground using his like ogre Quigon, and like it shows a bunch of like little landmines in the ground. And I just really like this moment where we all see Shikimi as like Reiji says like, hey, there's only a handful of warlocks left anymore, and even if they all banded together, they couldn't put up much of a fight. And Shikimi says like, oh, he's not wrong. And then Kyokushiro just says like, hey, there's only that many that you know of. There may be more underground ones like me. And Shikimi also says like, hey, he's not wrong either. And they just go back and forth until eventually they just fight. And then we see that Nico's mother, Ibuki, just like has a prophecy that says like, hey, today one dies that she couldn't share with anybody else. Which I feel like is a little bit of like a cop-out, but like it's still one part of this like series or like this arc so far. I've been like, okay, whatever there. But eventually like Hibana goes down. Like we just like missed out on like a whole awesome fight. And like Shikimi sees this, Kon comes in, like kicks Kyoshiro in the face. He walks over, says like, oh yes, I am the space shifter warlock or which whatever. And we see the massive pyre from where Chura is being summoned. And everybody's like, oh crap, what is going on here? As we see a hand come out of the fire. It's Oh, it's such a good chapter of Witch Watch. I don't even know why I'm saying anything. Witch Watch is the chapter of the week. It was just so hype and so much of a, oh my god, what is going on here? Especially for somebody like me who really loves this series and loves King Tashinohara's work. Witch Watch was just absolutely amazing. With that, yeah, let's rank the rest of these chapters here real quick. I definitely think One Piece is the next obvious chapter for chapter of the week. So 1PIECE. And honestly, I think it has to go to Robin as my character of the week, because, like, it's such a good moment of the two of them being reunited. Kagurabachi was also very good. Kagurabachi. Then probably giving it to Ichi the Witch. Yeah, Undead Unlock. Undead Unlock is fair to be next, followed by if I can spell, Ulti X-Row. If I could spell as I wanted to, Ulti X-Row Kiyoshi. Let me clear out a bunch of these various chapters here, which means we have Blue Box, Astro Royale. I think Akane Banashi, I did enjoy a bit more than Blue Box, but they were both very, very good. I think we're going to put Syd Craft next. I did think it was a good chapter. Honestly, we're going to put Hunter second from the bottom, just because it's like, I didn't really have many reasons to care for this chapter this week. Which leaves us with Hematin and Astro Royale. Like I said, Hematin is just good, but, like, there's nothing about it that makes me, like, leap out of my seat, like, oh my god, this is insanely good, just, like, very, very good. And Astro AST Royale, I think I would, like, put Astro Royale and Hematin a bit higher, but I just think that this is a very fair and, like, honestly easy to come up with list this week, and I don't see anything wrong with that whatsoever. But yeah, I know it was a really short ranking section, but I think I rambled on for a bit longer than 30 minutes, which is normally where I like to put these videos at, so, oops, like, I mean, let me just check my phone real quick and just see where we are. Let me put my passcode in. 31 minutes, so we're going to be wrapping this one up pretty quickly, so, thank you guys so very much for watching this video on Weekly Shonen Jump, issue number 2 of 2025. I've got plenty of other Weekly Shonen Jump videos on my YouTube channel or on the podcast feed that you could be listening to this on either one of those two places. So if you're listening on the podcast feed, maybe consider checking out the YouTube channel. If you are listening to this on the YouTube channel, maybe consider checking out the podcast feed. I think that would be pretty cool either way. But yeah, good issue of Jump this week. I mean, no, like, mind-bogglingly, like, amazing chapters or amazing ideas, but, like, just a very good, like, steady run of, like, hey, I enjoyed this, I think it's fun, I think it's good, but nothing, like, besides for Kill Blood, I was like, I want to kill myself after reading this, which, hopefully YouTube won't demonetize me for saying that, even though I don't even make money off this channel, which, YouTube, you gotta throw me a bone at some point, alright, man, but, that is what it is there. Yeah, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time for Weekly Shonen Jump, issue number 3 of 2025. I'll catch you guys then. For now, it'll be Glowplasma 231, signing out. See you guys all later. Have a good one. Like I said, end of the year times are right now, so, yeah, have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you later. Glowplasma 231, signing out.